Desperate Journeys, Abandoned Souls by Edward E. Leslie. This book is dedicated with love and gratitude to Dr. James E. Carver of St. Andrew's Presbyterian College. Although they have long since left his classroom, many of his students still struggle to live up to the extraordinary example he set. This book is also respectfully dedicated to the memory of Stephen Frederick Geisch, 1946 to 1975. The certain knowledge that he was dying did not daunt or defeat him. Instead, it gave him a purpose and a resolve. To the last days of his life, he worked on behalf of those whom society has discarded and forgotten, and he grew spiritually even as he declined physically. Rest in peace. I am most entertained by those actions which give me a light into the nature of man. Daniel Defoe. Foreword by Sterling Seagrave. All we may ask of some books is to be a good read, but there is a great deal more to this one. By bringing together for the first time scores of horrific misadventures that we usually hear about only in bits and pieces, Edward Leslie reveals some dark truths about human nature, the limits of courage, and the fragility of life itself. Seen separately, survival stories can be oddly misleading. We are swept along by the unique circumstance, by the exceptional personalities, by the agonizing suspense, or by the skills of the narrator, and often miss the dark side completely. This applies whether we are reading a news report on the harrowing ordeal of a young woman who, stranded in the Alaskan wilderness, endures a week of being mauled and chewed repeatedly by a maddened grizzly, or rereading a picaresque account of the marooning of an 18th-century Jack Nastyface. It is difficult to see what these extraordinary sufferings have in common until you bring them all together. The overly familiar adventures of Robinson Crusoe and the Swiss Family Robinson are sugar-coated tablets whose simple message is the virtue of ingenuity and courage in the face of adversity. That was all well and good for the age in which they were written, a gaslight age when courage and ingenuity were adornments that the middle class put on each morning with their boiled collars and corsets. The real story of Alexander Selkirk, on whom Daniel Defoe based his novel, like the similar story of Pedro de Serrano, 168 years earlier, and many others in this book, is much...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?